Yeah, I remember when I first started watching horror movies. It was in the 1970. Hold on a minute, I think 66, 76, about 1979, and there was a lot of the old. Do you remember the old Universal horror movies like Frankenstein? You had Frankenstein. You had Dracula. Sorry, bugger. Yeah, it was about, I suppose I must have been about 12, 13 years old, and there was these these films on television, black and white films, the Universal films like Frankenstein, and Dracula, and the Wolfman, and the Mummy, and I had never even seen any of this shit before. You know, horror movies. Like I wasn't allowed to stay up. I was about 12 or 13. Probably about 11. I don't know, might have been about 12 years old, I think it was. Because I said to Mummy and Daddy, look, there's a film on tonight, Mum, that I want to watch. It's called Frankenstein. I said, Mummy, can I stay up? Because we used to have to go to bed. Alright, there's Jackie, James, etc. Robert, and me, Don. I think Don went to bed a bit earlier. Don had to go to bed earlier than us, because Don's about 4 years younger than me and Rob. But when we were about 11, 12, 13 or something, no, probably about 9, 10, 11 or something like that. I don't know how old we were, Rob. But I said to, Mum, I said to Mum one night, look, there's this film called Frankenstein. Can I stay up with you to watch it? Because my Mummy and Daddy always used to stay up late. It's true. Mummy and Daddy used to stay up and watch the horror movies on a Saturday night, like Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy and all that, and the werewolf and things. And Mum and Dad used to stay up and watch it. And me and Robert, we got sent to bed about 11ish, I suppose. Me and Robert both got sent to bed at the same time, which Robert hated because he's a year older than me. But me and Robert always used to get sent to bed at the same time when we were children. You must have been younger than that. It must have been about 7 or 8, actually, Rob. I'll be with you in a minute, man. It must have been about 7 or 8 when we started watching the horror movies, Robert. Because we actually used to stay up. When we got sent to bed, we used to sit on the stairs.
What are you talking
and I'm talking a film. I'm making a film. And we sit on the stairs, and he sit one stair higher than me. And basically, one night I asked Mum and Dad if we could stay up and watch the horror movies, and they said, yeah, so we stayed up and watched the horror movies and stuff. Anyway, yeah, that's mate's wife. Hold on. Hello, I'm making a film. How you doing? I was rushing that a bit, so I had a visitor. Anyway, yes. Yeah, what I'm saying is, like, when we were kids, me and Robert used to get sent to bed. I suppose when we were about 7 or 8 years old, maybe 9 or 10. I don't know. Can't remember exact details, Rob. But we got sent to bed because the films were that was the time we had to go to bed, like. But then all these horror movies and the Twilight Zone and stuff came on television on BBC Two. On BBC Two, there were these horror movies like Frankenstein, Dracula, and we used to listen to them under the doors, Rob, didn't we? Because Mum and Dad were still watching the films, weren't they? Yeah. Because Mum and Dad were in the living room, right, Rob? Robert, it's a true story. Mum and Dad were in the living room. And we used to sit on the stairs because we lived in a 3-story house. Like, it was lovely, lovely house actually. I loved living there. But then one night I sort of said, can I stay up and watch the horror movies, like, with you? And Mum and Dad said, yeah. I think it was just after we moved to. After that, I think it was just after we moved to. We used to listen to them. We used to sit on the stairs when we were Wood Close, Robert. That was Wood Close, wasn't it? And because we got sent to bed. Mummy and Daddy sent us to bed, like, because we were late. Because it was sort of 11 o'clock at night, like, because we were only about 7 or 8 or something like that time. Anyway, we used to listen to the stories, to the films underneath. We used to sit and listen to the films underneath the doors. And eventually, I think Mum and Dad gave in and they opened the door, didn't they? Actually, that's how it started, Robert. Isn't that how it started? we were listening to the film under the door sort of thing in the living room, where Mum and Dad were watching these horror movies and stuff, these films. And I think Mum opened the door or something like that and said, all right, sit in. And I used to stay up quite late when I was a teenager watching the horror movies. I used to love it. Mum and Dad let me stay up late. When we got to Worcester Road, eventually we moved to Worcester Road, but no, me and Robert were only allowed to stay up after sort of like they caught us on the door on the stairs or something like that, listening to the film sort of thing. I think, if I remember correctly. And then there was sort of like when I was at Worcester Road, it was like I sort of said, Mum, can I stay up late and watch the horror movie again? And I said, yeah. So it was on about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, which was quite late for me at the time. So that's how I got into horror movies. Because Mum and Dad used to let us stay up late. Having one in the kitchen at the moment, defrosting the fridge. Trying to cook dinner and defrosting the fridge at the same time. Anyway, yeah. So I've got horror movies. That's a bit of a short one, but yeah. No, I don't know. Control.